At this time, I'm going to call the Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 meeting of the Banks County Board of Commissioners to order. On the agenda, we need to add 11M, which will be technology courthouse server, and 11N, code enforcement hiring. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I have a second.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Keith? Aye.
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 Agenda is approved. Approval of minutes. We've got the 3/11 work session, 3/11 meeting, 3/19 called meeting, 3/25 work session, and 3/28 public hearing minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve all the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Keith? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Pledge of the flag. Danny, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chairman's report, we got some time tonight, so we can go through a few things. HB 581, as we know, everybody, all our municipalities stayed in on that. We've got to set an estimated millage rate. So on your assessment notice this year, there will not be an estimated amount. It'll be an estimated millage rate. And then after we've gone through the budget and assessed the digest and all that, we can come back and set the actual millage rate. So by the 18th, I think was the deadline. Vicky had kind of laid out for us. We got to have that estimated millage rate ready. Water, our new public utilities director, he's identified some weaknesses or things that can be adjusted in our system, maybe get a little bit better use out of the water we do have, considering how tight we are. So he's working on that. We've flow tested 2 of our county-owned wells. They can produce enough to be worth looking into, so he's getting some guidance from the EPA and the EPD on getting those tied into the system. Grant Mill, KCI, our engineers, they're putting together a kind of a scope of work and a project guide for that, so we can go ahead and get that moving. Should have some LMIG money that we can devote to that, so we can get that done. Budget time's coming up. Y'all come out and watch the budget hearings, watch them online if you can. With the 581 passing in all our cities, and the county will be eligible for the FLOST, so we'll have some details on that coming up. That'll be a sales tax, but it's a dollar for dollar reduction in your property taxes, so that could be a good thing for us. Rec department, we're getting quotes on replacing the 20-ton system in the blue gym. It's had some major issues over the years, so we'll finish getting quotes on that, and then we can take some action on that. And then also, I don't know if y'all saw the flyers when you're coming in, but on May 1st, the NRCS, American Farmland Trust, and Athens Land Trust are going to have an informational meeting here. They're going to provide free dinner at 6 o'clock. Then we'll meet at 6:30. They're going to discuss land trust, conservation easements, cost share programs, the state of farmland in Georgia as it relates to Banks County, conservation easements, and how federal, state, and local funding for farmland protection can work together. So they're asking for an RSVP for the meal. So if y'all want to grab a flyer and RSVP for that, that'll be a good thing. There's a lot of things they offer that most people probably don't know about.
And that's for everybody, not just
That
us.
is for everybody.
Anybody in the
can
county
come.
that
Yeah.
wants to come.
Yep. Next up, special reports and presentations. We've got a proclamation for National Donate Life Month by Kyla Harris from LifeLink.
Do I need to come up?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Come up tonight.
What do I need to do? Do I
Pull
need
that thing down and just talk to us.
The mic right on this stand.
a little? Hello, everybody. First off, I am Nancy Hasso. I'm not Kyla Harris. She sent me. I'm representing. I am from Lifelink of Georgia, our organ procurement organization. I lived with alcohol use disorder for 34 years. I've been sober 10 years, and I'm almost 6 years post-liver transplant and grateful to wake up every day. I'm a very big advocate for organ donation and American Liver Foundation, Global Liver Institute, and also Sober Livers, various things that I'm involved in. And Donate Life Month is really important to me because I waited on the list for 3.5 years. I was sick for 5 years. I was on oxygen for over a year. And I have friends who have died waiting, and I have friends who have died post-transplant, people who couldn't get on the list. It's not easy to get on the transplant list. It is not easy at all. And it's not a fix-all. It comes with a lot of responsibility and dedication, and your life is sort of revolves around transplant. And I have chosen not to move on like a lot of people do. I chose to give back. Some people are just ready to get back to life and go back to work and go about their own business. But I spend a lot of time doing this, and I love it. I love hearing the stories. I love sharing mine, and I love encouraging people who are waiting for transplants. Right now, there are 837 people as of 3:30 p.m. today on the transplant list. 17 people die every day on the transplant list. And someone is added to the transplant list. 8 people are added to the transplant list every day. And it's, people are dying because there just aren't enough organs. And you think about these huge stadiums that hold 50,000 people, they don't hold all the people that are waiting for transplants. And a majority of those people are waiting for kidneys. Kidneys is that's a long wait. And I'm sure that everyone in here in some way has been touched by organ donation, or knows someone who has needed a transplant, or heard a story about someone who had a transplant, or someone who died waiting. And those stories are many. And I spend a majority of my time encouraging people to register to be donors. There are a lot of people who believe in organ donation and they don't want to register. But we need those people, and we're not in a hurry for anyone's organs by any means. But you never know when something's going to happen, and you can't take them with you. And it's like the last act of kindness you can do. You can pass your life on to someone else, and your story can continue. We are very grateful for our donors. We pray for our donors daily. We honor our donors best we can. I received the liver of a young man in his mid-20s, and he died really young. He took his own life. And I feel like we're in this together. I'm trying to give him the life that he didn't get to live. And that's a big deal to me, and hopefully I'm doing a good job of it, and that he knows that I'm carrying on his legacy and thinking about him and talking about him all the time. And he's a hero. He's my hero. And I am a mom of 4. I have 7 grandkids, a great-grandson, a great-granddaughter on the way, and they almost lost me. And waking up every day is a blessing. And if anyone here is not registered, I encourage you to please look into registering. You don't have to have it on your driver's license. You can do it when you get your hunting and fishing license. You can do it online. And if you do it online, you can choose organs you do not want donated. If you want to be buried with your heart, you can say all the following organs except, if you do that online. And I hope it is okay if I leave a few brochures up there. I did leave y'all a few goodie bags from Lifelink, but the brochures are like Q&As and answer a lot of questions about organ donations and dispel some of the myths. So I hope y'all will grab one on your way out and donate life, y'all.
All right. thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Do we
That-
have a written proclamation for that, or is it?
No, they sent us a page, a link.
Mhm.
We sent it.
Okay.
Okay, well, I am declaring April Donate Life Month in Banks County.
There we go.
It is actually Donate Life Month all around the country, and everyone's celebrating. This is Spirit Week. We're doing flag raisings, artwork, messages of hope, thanking our healthcare workers, our caretakers. I brought my caretaker with me. She took care of me for almost 6 weeks after my transplant. I could not breathe. I was on heavy-duty oxygen, and I needed help with everything, and she was right there with me, night and day, 24/7, for all that time. And, yeah, we're all celebrating, and it's something to celebrate. The gift of life is something to celebrate, and so are our donors. So, yeah, happy Donate Life Month, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job.
So we've got a link to a proclamation that I will sign if we vote to do so, and we'll send that to them. So I need a motion to proclaim April as Donate Life Month in Banks County, and allow me to sign that proclamation.
I make a motion to donate also proclamation.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Keith? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Next up, we've got National Safe Digging Month by Mr. Lonnie Robinson. We don't have Lonnie either.
He sent us yahoos.
Yep.
I'm not a good public speaker, but I'll just try to make it short and sweet. We just want to try to advocate, safe digging practices. And whether you're putting up a bird feeder or you're digging a trench, hundreds of yards long, it's always, better to call 811. It's a free service, and we locate any utilities and just make sure everybody's safe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what it's all about, just keep people safe.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You better at
Okay.
public speaking than you think.
Oh, I've got it.
I just get it out and get it done,
All right, so the proclamation reads, whereas thousands of times each year, the underground infrastructure in Georgia is damaged by those who do not have underground lines located prior to digging, resulting in service interruption, environmental damage, and threat to public safety. And whereas in 2005, the Federal Communications Commission designated 811 to provide contractors and homeowners a simple number to contact utility operators to request the location of underground lines at the intended dig site, and whereas the Banks County Commissioners, through the Banks County Utilities Department, dedicated to the prevention of damage to underground utilities in Georgia, promotes the National 811 notification system in an effort to reduce these damages, and whereas damage prevention is a shared responsibility by using safe digging practices, the contractors and homeowners of Banks County can save time, money, and help keep our infrastructure safe and connected. Therefore, I do hereby proclaim on behalf of the Banks County Commissioners the month of April 2025 as Banks County Safe Digging Month, and encourage contractors and homeowners throughout Banks County to always call 811 before digging. Safe digging is no accident. So I need a motion to allow me to sign the Safe Digging Proclamation.
Go ahead, Denny.
I make a motion to sign the proclamation.
I'll second.
Got a motion to second to proclaim April as Safe Digging Month, as well as Donate Life Month.
Let him take it with him.
Any discussion? Keith? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank y'all. We'll get this signed for you, and you can take it with you.
Do y'all get a raise for this? Should we make a proclamation if they give y'all a raise?
That's it, I like that one. I second that emotion.
They don't overtime.
Are they?
They don't overtime.
All right, thank y'all. Yeah, she's gonna get a copy, and you gonna get a picture? Yeah, we can do a picture. Come on.
No, he meant a picture of the paper, not us. Not
You want a
us.
picture with them or a picture with y'all? What you need?
We in the paper. I misunderstood. Danny, do you need help?
All five of them.
We gotta get the paper to hold. Do you need help?
Yeah.
Who's taking it?
It'd be nice if y'all could move this, but that's all right, or move. We can just go up. Everybody say safety.
Flash works really hard.
Sweet.
Okay. Everybody's alive. You never know what one little piece of your body can do. Even if it's skin.
You can say up to 8 months, and then over 100 people don't use it, or if you don't use it, you have heart attack, skin graft. I'm a little bone graft is my, is it all right if we,
Yeah, that's fine. Thank y'all for coming.
I'll let y'all some bags, for y'all, with a few books, and
All right.
I'll leave some brochures.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you.
You'll say organ donor off? Yeah.
Make my life cheaper.
All right, next up, we've got public hearings. First is 7A, the hotel motel tax ordinance. So I need a motion to open the public hearing on the hotel motel tax ordinance.
I make a motion to open up the hearing.
I got a motion, to have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to open the public hearing. Keith? Aye.
Aye.
At this time, I'll turn it over to County Attorney Karen Pachuta.
All right. The way we will do all the public hearings tonight is we will have people, two sides speak. We'll first start with everyone in favor. Everyone will have 2 minutes. When you come up to the microphone, and we probably need to move that back to the middle, please state your name and your address so we can put that in the record. We don't limit the number of speakers, but both sides, for and against, will have equal time. So if we do the against and there's more people, the for side will have chance for rebuttal. All right, so do you want me to discuss the hotel motel first or wait till after you close the public hearing?
No, you can go ahead and discuss it.
Okay. So just so the board is aware, this is essentially, it follows state law. One of the tasks our office was asked to do was to evaluate some of the ordinances. This ordinance hadn't been updated since 2002. The state law has changed somewhat during that time, but pretty much everything's the same, but it's putting it actually in the ordinance. So it has the definitions that come from state law. It has all the requirements that are in state law. It does have some flexibility. State law allows the county to decide how they want to collect the reports and everything from the government, from the hotel owners. But it makes all of the state law requirements explicit in the ordinance, particularly with the definitions, so. All right. Does anyone want to speak in favor? All right. Anyone opposed? All right. Seeing none, the public hearing can be closed.
Have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion second to close the public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Y'all have any questions or discussion?
I want to ask our attorney a question
Yes.
right quick. Just because we're looking at raising it, does that mandate that it's set in stone or we can fluctuate it or?
So currently, we're not changing our rate, so we're at 5%.
Right.
And we've been, I think Banks County's been at 5%, from what I can tell, since at least 1990. We're at the max the board can do by themselves. So if the board at some point, we could lower it, if we wanted to do that. If we change the ordinance, there's a little bit, it takes place like the following quarter. But if we raise it, state law would require that the General Assembly approve that. So right now, we're at that max. The board won't be able to raise that until the General Assembly basically passes local legislation to do that, so.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion?
This is not changing anything as far
This
as.
is getting our code up to date
This, yeah.
and where it needs to be to spell out all the requirements in state law.
Or if and when we want to raise it possibly, yeah.
I make a motion to approve the code amendment
I'll
for the
second.
hotel motel tax.
Got a motion and a second to approve the code amendment. Any discussion? Keith? Aye.
Ah,
Motion carries. Next up, we have the public hearing on CU 2503. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second to open the public hearing on CU 2503. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
ah,
Turn it over to county attorney.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this application? Oh, I always skip over.
Let me tell you about what the application is.
Gary, talk in that microphone.
You got it, baby. All right, so an application has been submitted by Andy Nguyen to request a conditional use for the properties identified as B43047A, a 36.72 acre parcel located on Skeeter Drive. The conditional use is to reduce the setbacks on an existing farm to bring it into compliance. The Planning Commission voted to approve.
All right, now, does anyone want to speak in favor? And that would include if the applicant wants to come up to speak.
Is the applicant here?
Just state your name and the address for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Andy Nguyen, and I'm at 237 Skeeter Drive, Maysville, which is where the farm is. And we have put in a request to have the setback reduced to build two new poultry houses next to our two existing
Andy,
poultry
pick that
houses.
microphone up a little bit.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go. Just
Can you
so
hear
they
me
can
better
you
now?
back there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Could you repeat what you said? Some couldn't hear
Okay.
you.
Well, we are requesting to have the setback reduced from 400 feet to down to 200 feet so we can build the two new poultry houses next to our two existing poultry houses. Yes.
Y'all have any questions at this time? You can have a seat. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
You can have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak in favor?
Anyone else? Sorry, we were,
You good?
anyone want to speak in opposition? All right, seeing none, the public hearing can be closed.
Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
so move.
Second.
Got a motion second, close public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Ah,
Uh,
I need to clarify that the Planning Commission voted to approve, but with the condition to maintain Skeeter Drive at least to the occupied resident. So they wanted him to take maintenance of the road.
Okay. Any discussion? After some brief conversation with county attorney, we don't know that we can really mandate that on private property, on a private road, but we would ask that you keep the road in decent shape for your neighbors. So, anything else?
is this a This not a private road. I mean, it's not a public road, it's a private
It's on a
road.
private
Right.
drive.
Yeah, and right now I don't have the information on the easement or anything
Yeah.
to be sure whether the county would have the authority, because I'm not clear whose private road it is, what the easement states.
And the act, it's safe ingress, egress, so
But, and there's currently 2 poultry houses.
there's currently
there.
already 2
Already.
chicken houses.
And
there.
there,
For years.
and is there a problem with the driveway
No,
currently?
I go by it all the time.
So without knowing for sure the details of the easement, I don't feel it's necessary to hold this up or table it on account of that, so,
Right.
But we could politely ask
yeah.
for them to maintain the road.
Any other discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the application on CU 25-03.
I second.
Got a motion and a second to approve CU 2503. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Aye. Application is approved. Next up, CU 2504. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to open public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
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 I'll turn it over to the county attorney.
All right, now we'll let the planning director start.
An application has been submitted by Julia Ammons for a conditional use on the property identified as B07E014, a 7.19 acre parcel located at 801 Garrison Road to operate a home occupation and an accessory structure. The proposed business is a pottery studio for up to 5 students. The Planning Commission voted to approve with the condition of no more than 5 students. The reason why we needed to spell that out is because a condition is allowable in the code for up to 2 students. So we're asking for a special condition.
Does anyone want to speak in favor?
Good evening. My name is Julia Ammons. I live at 801 Garrison Road. I'm just here to answer any questions you might have about the pottery studio. It is not a retail establishment. It will not be selling retail pottery. It's just for lessons only.
Do you have any intention for signage or anything?
Not at this time. It's by appointment only, and there will not be a sign on the road for someone just to drive up the driveway.
Okay. Y'all have any other immediate questions? All right, thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, seeing none, the public hearing can be closed.
Do I hear a motion to open public, or close the public hearing?
I make a motion.
I second.
Got a motion by Danny, second by Bo to close public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any discussion?
Planning Commission voted 5-0 to approve, correct? Okay.
Can you give us a little rundown on the 2-person?
So our code states that any home occupation out of an accessory structure is a conditional use. And it states that a home occupation for a studio of this type would be approved for up to 2 students. Because she needs more students than that, she's asking for a different condition. She does have ample parking for that, so it's just, this would just be a little bit different condition. You'd have to spell it out.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I'm assuming your kids, your students will mostly be kids?
No, only adults.
Only adults? Okay. So the parking's taken care of?
Any other questions? Hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve CU 25-04.
I second.
Second.
Do we need to spell out those conditions?
Would you like
Yeah.
that, add that condition, Keith, for the
Yeah, add
5 persons?
Yeah, their conditions that the Planning Commission put on.
Did I have a second?
I'll second.
Chairman, I would prefer at least the record state up to 5 students.
Okay.
It says 5 students, yeah.
All right, so the motion is to approve with the condition of up to 5 students. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Keith, second by Chris, to approve CU 2504 with the condition of up to 5 students. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Application is approved. Next up, we've got some code amendments. First is D, subdivisions, Class 1 plats to be signed in office. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion second to open the public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Turn it over to county attorney.
All right, well, we will start with the planning director.
I have a recommendation to amend Chapter 74 entitled Subdivisions, Article 2 entitled Application, Plating, Jurisdiction, and Enforcement, Section 7498 entitled Review of Final Plat, by taking the Class 1 subdivision off of the Planning Commission and placing it into in-office review. The Planning Commission voted 5-0 yes to recommend.
Does anyone want to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, seeing none, the public hearing can be closed.
Do I have a motion to close public
So
hearing?
moved. Second.
Got a motion second to close public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Y'all have any questions, discussion? This is something we've talked about for years and just finally getting around to getting it done.
Excuse me.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve the recommendation to amend the code to allow the planning commission to sign the Class 1 subdivision plats.
Did you get all that, Aaron?
There was a simpler way to do that.
I don't know if he can.
I make a motion to approve the recommendation to allow the planning office to, good God, sign the Class 1 subdivision plat.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion to approve the code amendment and a second. Any discussion? Keith? Danny did.
I'm glad you don't stutter over there.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Amendment is approved.
I was gonna read that, but it doesn't work.
Didn't work out.
It didn't work, did it?
Next up, is the planning commission, change director's recommendation to director's report. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
A motion second to open public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll turn it over to the county attorney.
We will start with the planning director.
Recommendation to amend Appendix A zoning, Article 16, Land Use Public Hearing Policies and Procedures, Section 1606, recommendation of the zoning administrative officer. We are deleting it in its entirety and replacing it with this paragraph about changing the recommendation of the planning director to a report, which I think you all have seen by now. I have a, like a common report. You'll receive the same report across the board. It keeps my office from making a recommendation, and none of that would be bearing on a decision for the planning commission or yourselves.
Does anyone want to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, seeing none, the public hearing can be closed.
Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion second to close public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any questions, discussion?
I
make a motion.
Recommend it.
Okay.
Thought you might want to know that.
Yep.
What'd you make a motion?
I make a motion changing director's recommendation to director's report.
I second that.
Got a motion by Danny, second by Bo, to approve the code amendment. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Code amendment is approved. Next up, we've got F, zoning, recommend code amendment to divide industrial zone into M1 to industrial and M2 light industrial. So we would have M1 industrial, M2 industrial. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second to open public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
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 I'll turn it over to the county attorney.
And the planning director will give her summary.
An ordinance to amend Appendix A zoning, Article X, M1 Industrial District by separating industrial zoning into two sections, Article X, M1 Industrial, and Article XB, M2 Light Industrial, to provide for an effective date, repeal conflicting ordinances and resolutions and other purposes. Basically, what we did here is take about a little over half of the uses already listed in M1 Industrial District and created a light industrial district so that we can keep those manufacturing businesses and things like that separate from like trade shops, dry cleaning plants, so on and so forth. The Planning Commission voted to approve.
All right, does anyone like to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Hearing none, the public hearing can be closed.
There a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Chris, second by Danny to close public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
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 Any discussion, questions?
What is the intent for this? Is this,
This is, my thoughts behind it is if you have one of the lighter uses like she just described, a HVAC shop right now would need to be M1 Industrial, which is right up there with some heavy-duty uses. So this kind of divides that out to where you can approve these lighter uses in areas that are appropriate for the lighter uses without having to leave the door open for all the heavier uses that may not be appropriate for that area.
So what are you classifying as lighter and heavier? Your
She's got
HVAC
that
is,
list.
do you have a detailed list of the ones that will actually be going into the,
Light industrial permitted uses would be accessory uses and structures normally incidental to permitted principal uses, including offices, showrooms, and administrative facilities, blueprinting and printing establishments, building material sales, contractors' establishments, exterminators, and pest control businesses. And conditional uses would be manufacturing, processing, and assembling, repair, and servicing of commodities or products, research and scientific laboratories, and data centers subject to availability of utility resources.
Now, these are permitted in M1 now.
Either permitted or conditional,
Yeah.
yes. So we're just,
I would,
what falls under your M2?
that was them too.
Was it?
the concern I have is the data center.
I would probably,
Leave that in M1,
well, it's not spelled out in code yet.
yeah.
So you were saying HVAC would fall under what?
Contractors' establishment,
And right now, that's in M1 industrial zoning.
so we want to move that into light industrial.
Even if they do some metal fabrication and all that, it would still,
It would be light industrial. until full
Fabrication
blown.
would move it back into M1.
On the conditional uses for M2, I would like to leave manufacturing in M1 and have the conditional for M2 as processing, assembling, repair, or servicing, and leave the manufacturing in M1.
So let's touch back on the data processor.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's best to have that in code somewhere, or if it's best to not have it in code. Because we know we can't support that
Absolutely.
utility capacity right now.
That's
If we don't have it specifically listed in code, they can ask for that as a special use. So either way, they're going to end up before you. What we don't want is them asking for a special use and then us having to literally set bounds every single time.
You want to touch back on this one after we
Yeah, I would.
go through it a little more?
Well, I mean, I like it. The only thing that I'm concerned with.
That's the only one that concerns me is the
Yeah.
data center and moving manufacturing back to M1.
I'd like to look at it a little more.
The
What are
only
you
one that concerns
classifying
me
as
is the
manufacturing?
data
Like a
processor.
Metal fab shop or?
You've got
Well,
right.
it wouldn't really
Ain't
matter
got
what
it.
we classified it as, it'd
Right.
matter what the applicant can fit into that definition. Manufacturing's kind of broad, so.
Yeah, so,
You want to table this or just not take action?
No action on it, I'd say.
With this being a public hearing, we need to table it, correct?
Yeah, you
Well-
need to take an action.
No.
No, you can close, they close the public hearing, right? But you can table a decision.
Okay. So I move we table the M1 code amendment until, what is our next meeting? Until May 13th.
Have you closed public hearing?
Did we close the public hearing?
Mm-hmm.
You did me?
Yeah, because we're already discussing it.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
All right, so I've made a motion that we table this until May 13th.
second.
Got a motion and a second to table this until May 13th. Any discussion? Keith? Aye.
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 All right, next up, we have zoning, moving landfill requirements into a new article. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion by Bo, second by Danny to open the public hearing. Keith? Aye.
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 Turn it over to the county attorney.
Here for the planning director.
An ordinance to amend Appendix A zoning by adding an article, which would be 24, to be called landfills. Take all of the definitions that falls under landfills in the M1 section and put it into its own article. I am not changing anything about the definitions at this time. We can look at that at another time. All we are doing right now is literally moving the definition
Moving it out.
to its own article. And the planning commission did vote to approve.
What's the name of that article?
Landfills.
Landfills?
Mhm.
Just land-
Do you like that? Do you
I
think
like it.
that
That's original.
Does anyone want to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the public hearing can be closed.
Hear a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Chris, second by Danny to close the public hearing. Keith? Aye.
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 So right now in our code, this is kind of just a cleanup thing. Conditional uses in M1 has landfill as a conditional use, and then it just rambles on for a few pages about all the landfill requirements and criteria in the conditional uses section. So this is just taking that whole chunk of criteria and putting it in its own chapter, just a cleanup deal on our code. It's kind of weird where it's at, so. Any other questions, discussion?
I make a motion to move landfill to its own place in the code, article in the code entitled landfill.
Second.
Got a motion
Oh,
by
you didn't
Chris,
read it.
second by Danny to approve the code amendment. Any discussion? Keith?
No.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, H, Planning Commission, C3 warehouses. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I hear a
Second.
second? Got a motion by Chris, second by Danny to open public hearing. Keith? Aye.
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 I'll turn it over to the county attorney.
I'll turn it over to the planning director.
I have an ordinance to amend Appendix A zoning, Article 9B, C3 warehouses and distribution. As you know, we do not have any permitted or conditional uses currently listed in the C3 warehouse and distribution section, so technically we can't rezone to C3. So I am asking that we add the following as permitted uses: warehouses, wholesale establishments, distribution centers, and mini storage facilities. I'm asking that we introduce the following as conditional uses: truck terminals. Planning Commission voted yes to approve.
Anyone want to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the public hearing can be closed.
Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion from Chris, second by Danny to close the public hearing. Keith?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
So we've had C3 created for a while. It never had any uses in it. This is adding those uses. Only thing I would maybe discuss is having mini storage in there because it's already covered in C2. Any other questions, discussion?
So there's nothing in C3 now?
We have no uses listed whatsoever in C3.
And this is gonna put all warehouses, truck terminals, and all that kind of thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say a truck terminal will be a conditional use in C3?
Yep.
Is that
It
the
is.
only one that'll be?
That is the only thing I have listed as conditional.
Yeah, so warehouse, wholesale establishment, and distribution center would be the permitted if we pull mini storage out.
I thought C3 was for square footage.
It still has those requirements at the beginning of the article. This is just adding uses to those requirements.
So there's still a definite different distinction with a small warehouse, say is 25,000 square
Well,
feet
it's different
versus a
footage,
million square
yeah.
foot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, different footage.
You got your acreage on it too.
Yeah, it's got, square foot per acreage requirements and all that.
If none of that's changed, I'll make a motion to approve C3 and with the planning commission, they voted on it 5-0. Accept their recommendation.
Is your motion with mini storage facilities still in there?
Right.
All right, got a
With the
motion.
planning commission recommendation.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the C3 code amendment. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, we have no previous business action. Contracts and agreements. We have A, Managed Print Services RFP. We only got one proposal back on that. The report was based on the models of printers and age of the printers. We do not feel a managed print solution will be feasible or cost-effective at this time. We will look at this again in the future. We ask for a rejection of the RFP as we look to reconsider the proposals at a later date. So I move that we reject all bids that were received in response to the Managed Print Services RFP.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to reject all bids received in response to the Managed Print Services RFP. Any discussion? Keith?
That is to reject, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, resolutions and ordinances. This is, back, let me find my paper. Here we go. So in,
Mine's flipped out too.
I've got the report on it right here.
Okay.
So as we update our hotel motel tax ordinance and prepare plans on the use of our hotel motel tax receipts in the promotion of tourism in Banks County, I feel the board should revisit its 2016 resolution that expressed support for the construction of a convention center by the Chamber CVB. At the time the resolution was approved, there were no county funds of any type allocated toward the conference center, and as we begin our budget process for the next fiscal year, I would like it noted that the county has never committed any funds to the project and does not intend to allocate funds to a convention center in the upcoming budget. Even though a formal rescission of support is not required, I move that the board withdraw its support of the construction of a convention center until such a time that it is demonstrated to be financially viable and a benefit to the citizens of Banks County.
Was that in the form of a motion?
That was.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by me, second by Chris, to withdraw support of the construction of a convention center until such a time that it is demonstrated to be financially viable and a benefit to the citizens of Banks County. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, finance. This is our purchasing policies. We've all gone over these in depth individually. This is really just giving more teeth to the policy we already have active. It adjusts some of the spending limits. It raises the sealed bids threshold to 75,000. Requires written quotes anywhere, 3 written quotes anywhere from 5,000 to that 75,000 threshold. Department heads, it enacts a PO system for anything over $5,000. That way we can track our invoices a little better.
But that 5,000 has to already be.
Has to be in their, in the department budget. That's correct.
Right, correct.
Anything that is not in their
Wanted to
budget comes
clarify
before the
that.
board.
Right.
Has in here about Sourcewell, so they've already done a lot of the bidding on a lot of these items we buy, so we can purchase there. All the public works and road construction is determined by state law. Looking for anything else that might be important. Keeps all our vendor qualifications the same. The local bidder privilege, so it raises that threshold to 4%, and the way that works is in a sealed bid process, if a local bidder is within 4% of the low bid, they're given the option to match the low bid. It's not that they get paid 4% more, but they're given the option to match the low bid.
And that's within how many days?
They have 1 day to make that decision.
From the time they're notified or the time?
Sometime they notify.
Yep. It still allows emergency purchases under certain criteria. Lays out RFP and sealed bid procedures. And it also states that if employees approve unauthorized purchases, the county has the right to reject that liability.
This is just making sure that everybody knows what everybody's doing.
This is making sure we're spending money how we're supposed to be spending money. Yeah.
All right. If we vote on this and approve this, when does it start?
Can this take effect as soon as it's approved, or do we
Yes.
need, okay.
Okay. But
mean,
anything prior to right now has to go back to sealed bids and whatever, if the criteria meets it, correct?
You mean pending or?
Do we need to
I'm
buy
not
these
clear.
trucks before we do this, or is it gonna affect?
I think
The
that,
current, the current. So anything before, yeah, so this would be a new thresholds, starting whenever you want to set the effective date.
You like start this, opening the business tomorrow, or start the business tomorrow instead of tonight, because we've got some things that we're purchasing on here.
well,
Well,
these
them right
would
there fall
align
under
with
sealed
that
bids, though.
purchasing policy.
Well, if they do what Keith,
That's falling sealed bids.
yeah, so they, if they align with it, then
So this can take effect as soon as we vote on it.
But anything we got before that, though, we can't approve it. We have to have sealed bid, though.
I see what you're saying. So what he's asking is we have written
For ones
quotes
that have
on
already-
trucks.
that have already been worked on.
Yeah,
what you're saying? Okay.
and they're on the agenda a few line items down.
Oh, right. No, you could do it, effective for any new purchases.
Okay, and that would
Or
cover
new-
these
or new
in this
requests.
same meeting.
But if it's going into effect tomorrow, that's still in the sealed bid process, then this right here covers this today.
But she's saying we can make it go in effect.
For
Right
future,
when we,
yeah.
but we can have it go in effect right when we vote,
Mm-hmm.
correct? Okay,
But what I'm saying, I understand that, but the sealed bid, the bids that we have has to go under sealed bids.
Not under this, because these are under
That's not been approved.
$75,000.
This right here is already done.
Yeah, but we're saying if we approve it right now, it will take effect for these other items on the agenda. Is that correct?
Well, you can have it take effect, but it doesn't I mean, you can specify, like, it's gonna take effect.
In other words, I'm
Let
here,
her finish. Hold on.
I'm sorry,
hearing her simplify it.
starting with, like, new proposals or new requests for bids.
Okay.
Or, yeah, I mean, if there's any you wanna go back and look at, you can do that, but you can carve those out if that's what you're
Okay.
wanting to do.
What I'm hearing her say, the simplest is to start it, like Chris said, at start of business tomorrow.
Then we need to wait on these truck purchases, even though that's the way this thing's been operating for 20 years.
Well, we just done one the other day that was, had to be sealed bids, and we had, more than 3 qualified bids that was open, and it wound up costing us more money.
So,
So you wanting to get sealed bids on these trucks?
Well, we had to the other day, we might well do it on these.
Well, that's what this purchasing policy's for, to fix that, so.
So if we change the purchasing policy, these trucks are okay, that we can buy these trucks currently?
That's correct.
Is that what
In
you
the
say?
same way we've been doing it
Is
in violation
that
of policy for
what you
20
said?
years.
Yeah.
But now, wait a minute, now I've got confused. If we buy this Bobcat tonight for $76,000, that's above the 75.
That was a sealed bid.
That was a sealed
That was a
bid.
sealed bid,
Yeah.
so it's still,
Yeah,
okay.
And everything we've got on here is below the threshold of a sealed bid tonight.
on the
correct?
trucks,
On the
yes.
trucks, yes. Is there anything that's not?
No,
So if we go ahead now and pass this, then what we're doing tonight, we can carry on business as usual.
that's correct, unless we want to make it effective tomorrow, and we can go back and get sealed bids on all these trucks.
it'll cost us more money, like Keith said, probably. Won't it, Keith?
Don't know.
Good.
Good.
We're going to go through the process again. We've already got the bids, the proposals,
Quotes.
the quotes for the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, what we have in place right now is more restrictive than what you're putting. So,
It is, I think Keith's trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point's been made.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve this purchasing policy effective immediately.
And if we don't, we will just simply, we're going to buy the trucks either way, we got to.
Well, right now, these trucks, under the purchasing policy that's been in place previously and is still in place right now, these trucks required sealed bids.
Yeah.
So if this is effective tomorrow, we can't purchase these trucks today.
Under the new policy.
Under the new
they're under
policy,
there.
we can, yes.
We can't.
But under the old policy, we can't. They would have to require sealed bids, and this is, you can't buy much of a truck under the price at the 75,000.
And the point behind that $75,000 threshold is a little more efficiency, and like we discovered on sealed bids on that Bobcat, sealed bids don't always lead to lower prices.
Did they go up on that deal?
Well, the guy that had the lowest bid and one of the best bids, he was at 69,000, I believe.
But he did not submit a
He
sealed bid.
had surgery and didn't do the sealed bids. But the lowest bid on that right there, we're gonna throw it out anyway, so we're gonna stay with the Bobcat.
But we ain't there yet, we're working on
I
purchasing
make a
policies.
motion to approve this new purchasing policy effective today, or right now,
Immediately.
immediately.
Do I hear a second? No, I said I would entertain the motion. Do I hear a second? I'll second. Got a motion by Chris, second by me to approve the
confused.
purchasing policy effective immediately.
Let's
Any
discuss
discussion? There you go.
Let's discuss
It's not
it.
gonna affect this.
All right. But
But it's legal to do this, right? Okay.
what about the one that didn't get his in and the sealed bid that had given us a quote on the
He
original
missed the
one?
deadline.
He didn't meet the deadline.
He didn't make it,
Yes.
so he's out.
It's out.
Okay, all right.
And
We're catching policy up to operations, basically, because
Yeah.
we've been buying trucks for a lot of years without sealed bids above that threshold.
Right,
So we're getting the policy up to date
up to date.
with
But all I was
operations.
worried about, if we could do it where we already got the bids out, and we got more than 3 bids.
Right.
So, in different vendors.
that.
That's all I was worried about. Would we be able to do this legally? Being we, okay.
The bottom line, the way we're changing it is, it's holding accountability,
Yeah,
virtually, yeah.
and this is a lot more structured framework for
Right,
purchasing,
Yes,
for debt
I-
management, for
I agree with that.
disbursement of surplus items.
Okay,
Got a motion?
let's move on.
Yep. Keith? Aye.
Ah,
Aye.
Purchasing policy is approved.
it sure did take a long time.
It did, didn't it? Y'all got me on this.
All right, next up, recreation, the infield batter box renovation. Miss Cat Roberts.
Okay.
Good evening. Batter box renovations was just the clay bricks that were put inside of our batter boxes to essentially just level out the field and the batter's box instead of having that big dip in there. I don't have that exact quote with me, but I think, because I'd given it to Randy.
$3,080
Yes, sir.
for the, yeah.
And those are all the ones that we had installed ourselves, so we just purchased those through Jacob.
All right, and this, we discussed this at the work session. This is just approving this invoice for $14,605, including batter box renovation and turfus on all infields at the rec department from 22 Splost.
And was that Splosh or was that out of their budget?
That's 22 Splost. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Hold on, finish the motion.
Keith got it.
The batter box.
Approve the invoice from
invoice
22
is back.
Splost.
Yeah, from 22 Splost.
Got a motion to approve the invoice to be paid from 22 Splost. Do I hear a second?
Keith seconded it.
Got a motion by Chris, second by Keith. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, basketball goals. You had a few quotes from the last one, and most of those had quotes for installation too, I think.
Yes, sir. I'd looked into the website that you told me about, the Willie Goat.
Yeah.
With the two, I printed that off. 2 goals would be $44.60. Shipping on that would be over $1,300. So before install would be just shy of $6,000. So I know that, fits your price range a little better. The only concern I had about that was just that, you don't really know what you're getting with a website versus a company that would come in and install those. It may be great for someone who's putting a goal at home, but you look at the longevity of a basketball goal used by the public, your everyday citizens, and if you've already spent a little over $35,000 on the concrete itself, I know at $10,000 is a lot of money, but when you look at the longevity of things, and how long that's going to get you versus paying a low dollar amount right now and then having to replace that later down the road, maybe it's 2 years from now. So that's just my 2 cents on spend a little bit up front to last you in the long run.
Yeah.
Well, I have a gentleman coming, it's rained, so I held him off, but he's gonna come look. He has worked with a lot of your large construction companies at schools and recreation fields and all, and he worked with Alcoa for years, and he's gonna come and look and give us a quote. And his are very professional made, they're really good equipment, and he comes highly recommended from all of your school construction folks, so hopefully he'll get down here this week.
Perfect. That'd be great.
And I'll get him to get in touch with you and Taylor, and let y'all meet with him, okay? Since it's a day-to-day operation, that's in your court, son.
No pun intended.
I'll set it up and y'all meet with the gentleman, okay?
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, he's cheaper than $10,000.
Oh, yeah. He's already roughly gave me a rough quote, so we will see, okay?
All right.
We do
so-
want to get something that lasts, but
Right.
we want to get the best bang for our buck
Right.
too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to buy something.
Because I'm assuming eventually the intention is going to be to fence this thing in too,
Yes, sir.
and that's going to be really.
Do you
Now,
also,
have you considered, rather than having one on each end, putting two on each side?
doing 6 total?
No, doing 4.
Haven't, you know, well, the quotes that I've gotten were 6 total or 2 total. If we did 2,
Yeah.
you know, just one on each side, that would give us a full basketball court. If you do 4, you're not gonna have a full-length court. But again,
Two
that's,
on each side. Yeah. Okay.
What's your motion?
I'd like to look at too, because if this, it would be feasible for us to put 4 up and have 4 half courts, or rather than just 2
right,
full courts, and it would give more people opportunity to use the courts. And because majority of people play half court anyway.
right.
They don't play
Yeah.
full court when they go out. So just something that I'd like us to look at when we do these other goals
Okay.
too.
Y'all just want to take no action on this?
Yep, for right now, until y'all meet with him and see.
Okay. We'll just get him
What?
hooked up with her,
Okay.
and she can take him out there and show him what we got.
Okay? Will do.
He better be cheap.
I need to apologize to you. I should have had you moved up a lot sooner, 'cause I know you got two.
She was hiding back there again.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Keith.
She hides every time, Keith. Huh?
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Neptune T10 water meter pro coders. Went over this at the work session. This is for 60 3/4 water meters and 16 1-inch water meters. This is just to kind of replace stock and work through some work orders that we've got a backlog on. Price is $29,100 to be paid out of 22 splost. So need a motion to approve the purchase out of 22 splost.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Bo, second by Danny, to approve the water meter purchase out of 22 splost. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up is the Toccoa Pump Station invoice. We talked about this at the work session as well. This was for installation of the pump station at the Toccoa connection. Was kind of a surprise invoice, but the work has been completed. It's up and running, and it is for $58,000.
Now, this isn't on top of the 35 estimate we had.
This is on top of
It
the
is.
35 that was originally presented,
So 35 plus 58.
plus 58. From what we can gather, going back and watching that video, the 35 was presented as the total project, but was actually just the pump and the skid itself. So,
It's already installed. I'd make a motion that we pay for it
out of,
to a 22 spot.
I second that motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Keith and a second by Chris to pay the Toccoa Pump Station invoice out of 22 splost. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say that this is partially a little bit of redoing our purchasing policy, I'd say, because this one was misrepresented to us by one of our department heads. But with our new purchasing policy, I don't think we'll have to worry on that anymore, gentlemen.
There's no way for this to do anything but leave a bad taste in our mouth, but ultimately,
But
we got to
we
do-
gotta pay
We
it,
have to
yeah,
do it.
we gotta pay
We've
it.
got to pay it, and we've got to explore every option that we have, we
That's
can
right.
explore for water.
That's it.
Hopefully, with the conversation we've had with the city of Toccoa in the last couple of weeks, we can find a little bit more water, but I don't think it's gonna be very much. Even the amount of water that this thing was promised to pump is a third of what it was. Of what we were promised in here that night. Matter of fact, it's way more less than a third, because we were promised a 500,000 and $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 30,000.
Any other discussion? Keith? Nope.
Clarification, do we, is it 58 or 58 plus 35?
No, we've already paid the 35. It's $58,285.58.
Is additional for that.
Mm-hmm.
The work was done. We've got to.
Oh, yes, we are gonna pay it. We have got to. Motions made, seconds made. Let's vote, Mr.
Any
Chairman.
more discussion? Keith?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank God for the new purchasing policy. That's all I got to say.
Public Utilities of Franklin County Water Connection Upgrade. We had originally gotten some quotes on fixing some issues there that could be leading to a little bit of water loss. After further investigation, the equipment that was quoted will not fit in the
Line.
current vault
Vault
box
box.
structure. So we've backed up. He's found two types of equipment that will fit in the current vault. So they're getting us some quotes on that, and he'll bring those to us when they have them in writing.
So this will possibly stop any backflow.
Any backflow, yeah.
Into
We
Franklin
might be
County.
losing a little bit
We
of water
might,
back to
a
Franklin
little.
County, so.
Yeah.
But still, the cost of these new ones would be a lot less than what a new vault would.
We're talking less than $10,000
Oh, yeah.
here, so.
Whole lot different.
What it is, it's just that he found two companies, one was 14 inches, one was 16
16
inches
inches
long.
long.
The
Yep.
standard is like 23, and he's got like 26 inches to work with.
Yeah, and if
You
we
wouldn't
had to
have
put
no-
a
couldn't put a
bigger
flange
vault
on
in,
it.
we'd be spending a lot of money, so,
Okay,
So we'll take no action on this.
yep.
Okay.
that's fine.
Next up, fire EMS brush truck. It says Chief Steve Nichols, but you don't look like him.
He's at a conference.
All right.
He's lost a little hair, hasn't he?
Good evening. Our current squad, we call them squads, but it's a brush truck down at Banks Crossing. The last 4 to 6 weeks, it's been out of service due to the motor went out in it. We checked it first to see what the motor would cost us to replace it. And it's a truck that belongs to the Georgia Forestry, and we own owner with it, and it's a 2005 model. And it's probably got 200, 300,000 miles on it. It's gonna cost, if we got a used motor, anywhere around 7,000 or 8,000, or a new motor was like 17,000 installed. So we got prices on from four different dealers with vehicles. We got 2 from a Ford dealership and 2 from Chevrolet. The Ford dealerships was Billy King Ford, Mike Jones, and then the Chevrolet dealerships was the one in Commerce, which they actually sent back an email and said that they didn't do fleet policies or fleet pricing. So then we got one from Hayes, and out of all 4 of them, Hayes Chevrolet was the cheapest on a 2,500 Chevrolet truck.
And these are all comparable.
Yeah, they pretty much oranges to oranges from
Four-wheel
Ford.
drive, are they two-door, four-door?
2-door, single, regular cab, long wheelbase.
Hold on a second. Do what now?
Is this the quote from?
Four-wheel drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it's got the skid plates up under, the only option that we really added to it was the skid plates up under it from us going off-road that it would scrub up under there for brush fires and all.
What was the price?
Hayes
You-
is cheaper though.
Which one, you saying this one is the cheapest, Scotty?
No, the Hayes Chevrolet in
Oh.
Baldwin was the cheapest.
Okay.
At 45, that was a little over $45,000 for it. And then the rest of them was anywhere from 47 to 48,000.
Come from.
This would be paid out of 22 Splash.
Yes, we actually put money into 22 Splash for a brush truck.
Okay. With that being said, I make a motion, we approve it for Hayes Chevrolet,
Low bid.
low bid.
Little bit. I second that.
Got a motion by Bo, second by Danny, to approve the low bid from Hayes Chevrolet of, give me that number,
The total on it was $45,537.10.
$45,537.10.
With 8-foot box, 8-foot bed?
Yes, it's long wheelbase.
And it's same,
Let
we're
me finish
comparing
my
apples to
motion.
apples.
Out of 22 Splosh. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Got a motion and a second to
Now
approve the low bid.
discuss.
Any discussion?
we're comparing apples to apples here. You're
Yes,
as
sir.
happy with the Chevrolet as you would be the Ford.
Yeah, well, the ones we have now is all Fords.
Yeah.
We have one Chevrolet, and we've had it since 2001. We ain't got no issues with Chevrolet, so we'll take the lowest bid to save money on it.
Do we have to fix that Forestry Service truck and give it back to them?
No, we're gonna take the slide-out unit out of it, and we done talked to them, and we can keep that, then we will have to take that truck to, Lula, to their yard up there, and then they'll send it back to probably Macon and scrap it.
Make
We'll
sure-
take our lights and radio out of it and the stuff that we have belongs
Would
to
that
us.
fit on the new truck? Can you use a,
Yeah, we'll be able to use most of all the stuff too on the new truck, yes, sir.
I'm gonna make sure I don't loan y'all anything. Just loan them a truck, they blow up and send it back.
Yeah, we've had it now, we got it about 6 years ago, and it had like 200,000 miles on it then, so.
We have a motion and a second.
Any other discussion? Keith?
Uh,
Aye. Motion carries. Next up, Fire EMS, blood products.
We're coming and asked, to purchase a cooler to go on our captain's truck. And it will, where we could actually carry blood, and that way we'll be able to provide a service to the citizens of Banks County that we've never been able to provide before. We'll be able to carry the plasma and blood on there. Jackson County and Habersham County currently does it now. There's been times where we needed it and we called. They're not been able enough to bring it because of the time it would take for them to get down here or over here and us to go to the hospital. But when they do bring it, we take their truck is out of service because their paramedic or who brings it has to get on our truck and go with us to Northeast Georgia. It's a one-time purchase for the cooler. The blood, we will never have to pay for, as long as we transport the patients to Northeast Georgia. Northeast Georgia will replace the blood back for us. The cooler that we're asking to get is Bluetooth. It will send all the temperatures and all that stuff to Northeast Georgia and to the blood bank. And we don't have to do that manually. Some of the surrounding counties, coolers they have to swap out thermostats every so many hours, and then they have to record it and then call in and do it. Ours, we will take out that human error out of it, hopefully, and this will do it, and we'll be able to have it on with any of their trucks. Med units, the captains can go to it with that one and be able to provide that to any kind of trauma patients or patients that would need some blood replaced on them.
Is there an extra cost for installation on the truck?
No, sir. All we got is to do is an inverter, and we already actually have the inverter. So there'll be no cost as far as installs or anything like that. And the cooler is $12,261.90, and we have that money actually in our current budget now.
This is just on one truck.
Yep. And it'd be put on the captain's truck instead of us coming and asking y'all for 4 coolers for 4 different med units.
And this can be paid out of their current budget, or could this be a splost item?
it has in their
He said
budget.
they had it in the budget.
I think we talked about this with the chief.
We could take it out of splash out of equipment if y'all wanted to.
I think that would be
Oh, question for Randy?
Well, no, I just think it'd be better to bring it out, because we have the fire EMS equipment in
Yes,
the
sir. We
SPOS.
have that. We have a category in our SPOS, 22 current SPOS for, it's just a broadband for equipment.
I would say splash.
I would do splash,
Yeah.
you can do it.
I haven't looked at it, so I can't.
Yeah. I know that's in there, because we've purchased a lot of things.
Yeah, we
A
have,
lot of
that's
fire
where,
and EMS
it's-
equipment.
all our miscellaneous equipment has come from the SPOS on it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Nope.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we get it out of 22 splash,
The blood truck.
the blood cooler,
For a total of,
for a total of 12,000, how much was it?
$12,261.90.
There you go.
And all the other supplies that we got with it, we got it up under a trauma grant, so
Okay.
I'll second.
got a motion by Bo, second by Danny, to approve the purchase of the blood cooler for a total of $12,261
$0.90.
and 90 cents. Second by Danny, any discussion? Keith,
Coming out of Splash,
Yep,
out of Splosh.
22 splash.
Keith?
that's aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Next up, environmental services truck purchase. Is Will here? No. So we discussed this at our work session as well. We received a few quotes. I think you got one from,
Athens Ford, Jefferson Ford.
yep, and the criteria on this were four-wheel drive, four-door, and cheap. Looks like the Jefferson Ford came in at $39,642.
Cheapest.
We've got a quote from Hayes for $37,791.
And Akins.
There's a Athens Ford for $40,318, and a Akins for $40,543. So the low bid would be for the Colorado from Hayes at $37,791 and 20 cents.
And everything is comparable on every one of them.
The bid specs were four-door, four-wheel drive, so some of these are F-150s or bigger trucks, but the cheapest thing to come back that met the specifications was a Colorado.
Okay.
That's what he asked for too, a Ranger or Colorado, something like that.
Four-door, four-wheel drive.
And when he come in and talked to us about it.
So who come in the cheapest on the specs?
It would be Hayes for the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado at $37,791.20, and finance has advised that we have a $500,000 allocation in 2022 SPOS for miscellaneous county vehicles that we've not spent anything out of, so this would be out of 22 SPOS.
Okay. And we're replacing a Ford Ranger that's worn out.
We're keeping Ford.
Why?
So if it ain't gonna bring us, I mean, still running.
Well, then we'd have to pay insurance on it.
We can surplus if that's what we decide to do, but they have requested to have the two
Have an extra
as a
truck.
backup, yeah.
But, I mean, they're
If you
making
buy
it with one
them a new
vehicle now,
one-
we're gonna have a new one. Why would we let a new one sit over there and pay insurance on it and have
Mm-hmm.
the liability of that and just deteriorate down? Now, I'd be okay with keeping it in a pool somewhere where anybody that needed a spare truck, if it's a decent truck. But if it's a good truck, why are we getting rid of it? Why
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we need a
we
new
can-
one?
We can either surplus it, or we can not buy a new one, or we can put it back under the annex, and that way it's a spare for anything, but
How many miles is on that little Ranger?
About 300,000.
I don't know the exact number, but it's got a few.
Ton.
But,
Well, we can decide what we're gonna do with that.
yeah, I mean, but I see no reason to keep a spare truck.
Sitting
If it
over
sits
there,
over there,
yeah.
it's just gonna ruin. If we've got a new one, let's use the new one, you know, and get that off the county's insurance.
$37,791.20.
Do we need anybody, Aaron, do you know, is there any reason to ever have a spare vehicle around for any purposes? Is there like a department that needs a vehicle from time to time?
Well, we have in the past, yes.
And we're kind of, well, we've got the Escape, and there's an Explorer out there. Or Explorer's at the fire department. The Crown Vic's out there. We don't have a spare truck right now because we have code enforcement and public utilities back fulfilled. So we don't have a spare truck of any type.
So if we were to decide to keep a spare truck, let's put it here where anybody could use it that needed it, unless they have a
valid reason.
a valid
for needing it
reason to
down
need a
there
spare.
At all times,
Yeah. So, that's my only concern. I don't wanna be paying insurance on a vehicle that we don't need.
Yeah, if we don't need it, we can send her on, but
Yeah.
do I hear a motion?
I make a motion, we purchase Hot Colorado from Hayes for $37,791 on the Splosh. 22 or, yeah.
Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Got a motion by Danny, second by Bo, to purchase the Colorado at a price of $37,791.20 out of 22 Splosh. Any discussion?
Going forward, as we work on policies, I'd like to have a policy in place that before we purchase new vehicles, because we've determined one's wore out, let's kind of have let's consider an evaluation process to make sure that these trucks, you know, when we decide if we need a new one, like theirs is blown up, they gotta have a new truck. Let's kind of look into this. Let's discuss among, you know, let's come up with a way to establish whether the need for a new truck.
How much usage is and.
Yeah.
Have it looked at.
That's,
I agree
if
with
there's a
that.
vehicle to be replaced that's not just blown up and tires falling off,
Yeah.
that's it right now. In the county, that Ranger is probably the least reliable, most used vehicle we got, but
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
And I'd like to have, going forward, an absolute odometer reading, the actual odometer reading of any vehicle that, you know, we're replacing.
Well, let's put that in writing and we'll adopt it next meeting.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion? Keith? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, KCI has requested additional engineering funds. One thing I've had individual discussions with some of y'all on is kind of changing the way we operate with our engineering services of all types. And instead of having pre-allocated funds that are billed hourly, kind of move to a system where if we have a specific task, we ask for a quote or estimate on that task, approve that, and then get billed for what we know is coming, instead of having
All at
hourly
once.
bills
Hourly.
coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And that'd be across the board on any engineering services we're doing.
Yes.
Well, now, the only thing, we might need to put an exclusion in if there were an emergency, like if a pipe washed out or something like that. We'd probably need to figure out some way they could go right then and look at that, because we couldn't wait till the next meeting to,
Like that
To approve
instance
that.
on, y'all on a Homer, we went through it, washed out, no. But
yeah. I mean,
that's a big one. Yeah.
I understand what we're working here, you know, with, and I fully support what you're saying, but I don't know that we don't need something for an emergency situation, or maybe like,
There, in the purchasing policy, there are,
Emergency clauses.
so that would
for
fit.
emergency purchases, let me go to that.
Would that work for a engineer?
Yeah, so an emergency purchase is one in which a situation exists where inventory, supplies, equipment, et cetera, are depleted and would hamper county operations, or when a threat to public health, safety, or property exists and goods or services are needed. Emergency purchases are allowed when using the procedures in Section 3. So it does allow for an emergency expenditure of those services. or for those
for
services.
those services.
Do we have a list of what we actually have to call KCI for? I mean, is there, like, if we were looking at something, like, say, a pipe under a dirt road somewhere,
No, you don't call them for that. We just put them in.
just,
Under dirt road.
just
Paved
put that
roads
in?
where you used to call them on paved roads.
Okay.
Mike usually does, takes care of that.
Most of the
That's-
dirt
that's what I was
dirt roads, all they do is call for a locate, and then, we'll go ahead and install them.
So basically, the only time we need an engineer is on a paved road?
And I would say not all the time on paved roads, but
That's what I just wondered,
Yeah.
if there was a, kind of a list of when and where to use them. So,
Also, they go out and help spot between the road guys when they're out bush hogging or side mowing. They look at pipes and then they call them to do their assessment.
yeah. I'm
And
not
they,
saying
and
they're
they do
not-
a lot of good stuff for us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not
This-
saying they're
this-
not doing a
yeah,
good job.
This
I'm
ain't anything
just-
after KCI, this is just on engineering services
In
in
general.
general. Let's start doing it by the job, by the task, and that way we know the full expense up front before we commit to any type of money
And
spending.
then plus you know it's going, what job it's going to.
Yep.
And that way it's always good to have
Right.
that backup.
How much additional funds? are you-
Well, that's what I'm saying, we don't have to take any action here because that's not how we're gonna,
Oh, okay.
unless y'all would prefer doing it that way, but.
Usually when they send stuff in, they have it broke down to you, don't they, Aaron?
Aaron, do you see a benefit to doing it the way we've been doing it over?
Well, I mean, the benefit, but the way, I don't know. I mean,
From what I've seen, of what they turn in to her is that each job has.
Yeah, they've got it
been
broke down
listed,
in line
you know,
item.
Got it broke down line item.
But if we're gonna be billing by the hour, it's really unnecessary to do these upfront approved funds. We don't do that for any other hourly service we have, you know? So if we're gonna continue just calling and billing by the hour, I don't think it's even necessary to keep approving these funds up front because we don't do that with any other hourly service we receive. But I would like to see all the engineering type things move toward a job-based estimate.
Estimate on everything, yes. That's only smart business. Huh?
Yeah.
It really is.
And we still have, if we have
Emergency.
an emergency, there's a carve
There you
out to
go.
get those emergency services.
Yep. I agree with you.
And not everything would have to, this would go back to these thresholds too, so not everything would have to wait until the next meeting.
Right.
It can be signed off in finance and in chairman's office.
Okay.
So we're taking no action on
What
that?
about if when we take a bid on paving a road or something like that, could they turn in a bid on their, or price on their services at the same time?
Yeah, estimate.
What do you mean?
Like when we receive a bid to pave a road, if we were gonna pave, say, what's that road you live on, Danny? McDonald Circle?
Yeah.
If we were gonna pave McDonald Circle, could we have them give their price up front as,
They already do.
do they?
Yeah, so once
They do all that.
once
because-
we decided we were gonna use LMIG on McDonald Circle or whatever road it is,
Yeah.
we'd say, well, what are your services gonna be for this project and how much do they cost? They give us a number.
Well, just,
And just take it out of that amount we've approved.
because like McDonald Circle, our crew had to go in first and get roots.
Yeah.
Our road department went in with Joe, and they did all of that to get it ready so that they could pave it.
I will say, I rode down McDonald Circle the other day.
They
That
did a
thing's
great
in
job.
real good shape.
They hadn't done the shoulders, but they did a good job on the asphalt.
Guess we need to get them back and get them shoulders fixed, don't we?
Yeah.
Get them filled.
Yep, so y'all wanna take any action on that and keep doing it like we're doing it, or
Yeah, right now.
migrate toward?
Let's migrate, let's try it the new way.
Alright. Next up, roads and bridges, skid steer bid. So we got all the bids, they came back, I don't even remember, there's the date, March 19th. The low bid was for $71,000 for a New Holland. What I think we feel is a disqualifying factor is the distance we would have to go to get that thing serviced.
Yes.
There's no dealers for New Holland around close by. Also, Mr. Chairman, we, spoke with Mike, and he had got with a sales rep, and he brought out his machine, they tried out 2 of them,
Which are the next 2 lowest bids.
next 2 lowest
The
bids.
Lowest
But-
bid's not disqualified.
That's right. But the T-76 is one they're asking for. It's just about, right at $2,000 higher, but the cab and all is a lot bigger. It's a little more horsepower from what I understand, and they've run both of them over there, and they like that one the best.
For what they needed to do.
That's what
he
that's
said.
what mine was asking for, that right there.
The 76,000.
76.
All right, so do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion, we buy the Bobcat.
T-70.
From a little Bobcat of Atlanta for $76,139.10. They come out of Splash. So you got T-Spot.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion by Keith, second by Danny to purchase the T-76 from Bobcat of Atlanta for $76,139.10 to be paid out of T-Splost. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries. Technology, migration to Microsoft 365 Business Basic with archiving. Did you not give me a quote for that? Thought I had one. I've got the server one right here.
I got it right here. You got it? Yep, right there.
Look at BOGO. All right, so the current email system we're using, the Outlook, is it called Classic, Jenny? Outlook Classic or something like that? That it was going out in 26,
Obsolete.
so we really
Have to
have
upgrade.
to upgrade the email system. This is more secure. It'll get everybody on a platform that's not gonna be obsolete in a year. It does all the archiving that we need to do for records retention purposes. There were a couple other benefits to that. Trying to remember what they were.
It has email archives for Office 365 user mailbox, and the other one's Microsoft 365 Business Basic, no Teams, NCE monthly.
Yep, and it's priced per email per month. So it is an expense, but at this, I mean, we can't swap to Gmail. So it is, and it's
The total monthly's $1371.12.
$1377.12.
12, yep.
So it'll
Yep,
be a bit
77.
of an operating expense, but
Yeah.
at this point, we're kind of forced into it. And at first, we thought this was gonna be about $10 per user per month. And our new IT did some negotiating and got us a
A good price.
pretty good
it
price
looks
on
like.
it.
And it's how much?
It's $1,377.12 per month for all of our emails.
And there's no cost per email, I heard you say a minute.
That is the cost per email. If you take
Per-
all the emails times the rate of what's $9.06 total,
No.
it comes up to that, because it's
$576.
plus
and-
$3.30, so yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be $9.06
Yeah.
per email per month. Comes
this-
up to $1,377.12 per month.
And this is the only option.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the only option and we gotta do it, we ain't got
And
to.
it's the same basic platform, so nobody has to go in and relearn email or their archiving or anything like that.
Outlay
And-
of it.
And I think I heard him say all of our currently archived things will
Back
transfer
up.
to this. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll back up to it.
Yep.
Cause your Microsoft we're using now, it's going away.
Yep.
Everybody's having to switch over. My little business is.
And this will be in the technology line item of the budget. So do I hear a motion?
I make a motion
I'll second it.
Two?
to go with the Microsoft 365 Business Basics for a monthly fee of $1,377.12.
Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Got a motion by Bo, second by Chris, to approve the migration to Microsoft 365 Business Basic with archiving at a expense of $1,377.12 per month. Any discussion? Keith? Aye.
And I didn't stutter.
All right, next up is the courthouse server. I do have a quote on that. This is a report from TKS, the new IT. Just says this is the upgrades for the new courthouse server we spoke about. This will still use the new server, but give it redundant power, more memory, and also have hard drives in a RAID array for speed and data survivability. And I'm gonna let Danny explain that to us.
What is that?
Bunch of technology stuff we don't understand.
Yeah, I'm good.
It says, please review attached estimate, feel free to contact with any questions. So we've got some pretty serious server,
Upgrade.
upgrades needed. Our performance is down pretty bad. And this would get us caught up. It's getting a whole bunch of memory. RAID controller, which he tried to explain to me as in having some redundancy and some backup. Puts in a redundant power source, CPU upgrade, a solid state drive, so that'll make everything operate a little quicker than it does right now. And the adapters required for the solid state drive, and that comes up to a total cost of $3,367.
Is that a one-time price?
That is a one-time purchase, and
So-
it's there.
Do you need a motion on that? Approval?
I make a motion to approve the technology migration to
Yep.
I'm on the wrong one then.
Server
Technology
upgrade.
server upgrade.
Yep. Got a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll say.
Got a motion by Chris, second by Danny second by Keith to approve the courthouse server upgrades. Any discussion? Keith? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And also, our maintenance department just put a new air conditioning system
Yeah,
in
when we
there.
started doing our server work, we discovered that the air conditioner bearings had gone completely out, and that thing was in there roaring and gone or left unnoticed or unresolved. Probably could have killed some.
And
hardware.
I would like to say they was down here on the heat, on the roof, on the weekend working, getting it done. So I appreciate Crumley and them for doing that.
Yeah.
It ain't
Got
been
it
hot.
back up quick, so.
Got it up quick.
It ain't been that hot.
It was hot enough to be on the roof.
It was too hot to be on the roof.
All right, next up is our code enforcement hire. We announced Logan Galloway as a finalist a little over 2 weeks ago, I guess. So we need to have a formal vote to hire him. I move that we hire Logan Galloway for the code enforcement position.
Second.
Got a motion by me, second by Danny to hire Logan Galloway for the code enforcement officer. Any discussion? Keith?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hit the boots run.
Now we're at the public comment section. If anybody would like to come up and make a comment, this is your time. Hearing none. We have no executive session. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
So second.
Got a motion by Danny, second by Chris to adjourn. Keith?
Aye.
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 We're adjourned.
And I would like to say, thank all y'all for coming.